The Seattle Seahawks have officially closed the book on the 2017 season as Pete Carroll held his final press conference on Tuesday to discuss the good and the bad from the past year.
This season has ended too early. We have been unaccustomed to being done by now, and it's frustrating for us and disappointing that excuse me, that here we are talking about a football season, and we should in our minds still be playing, but we didn't get the job done to get that done, and so. What's important is what are we going to do now? John and I have a big job, and as we always say to you at this time of year, there's a lot of huge decisions to be made. We're faced with big challenges always. We put our brains together with the help of our staff and the people with us to take a very aggressive approach at this point, and to an aggressive approach in our evaluations of what took place and what we need to do and what's at hand right now. And that's how we're going. You've never seen us be any different. We've competed at every turn. We see every next opportunity as a chance to compete.
One of the key areas they will focus on this offseason is getting the running game back to where they want it.
There was issues during the season that that I think the big ones I would like to address for you is that we have a real formula how we win, and we've been unable the last 2 years to incorporate a major aspect of that, and it's to run the football the way we want to run it. I think you see tremendous examples around the league of teams that have turned their fortunes around, and they've turned it around in a formula that I think should sound familiar to you, about teams that run the football, teams playing good defense and doing the kicking game thing. That's the formula that has proven historically the best in this game. We have been committed to that from the start, but unfortunately we have not been able to recapture it the way that we have in years past.
Carroll noted he's really excited about guys like Chris Carson and J.D. McKissick who would be coming back to compete for a job. While another big area of focus doesn't address new personnel for the team, but rather the execution by the players on the field.
Major issue, probably my biggest regret this season, is how the penalties factored into our season. And we've been in this situation before, and we've been able to overcome the issues in our style of play. It didn't affect us dramatically, but this year it was more of a factor, and our margin of it wasn't as such that we could endure it as well, and that's a major aspect of us to change. That I'm clear on how I'm going to go about that, and it's going to start way back to the first day, April 16th, and we'll make a change there, and it has to happen.
On defense, Carroll sees a lot of promise across the board, whether it's Dion Jordan or Nazir Jones up front to the group of young defensive backs, adding he sees potential in the new nucleus starting to form.
There is a young nucleus and a new nucleus, guys that have come to us, and I don't want to miss that. Bradley McDougall coming to us, and Dion coming to us, and Dwayne coming to us, and Garvin, and all those guys that kind of came to us. They're part of that new class as well, and the class from last year. These are good groups of guys now, and so we're very optimistic about the roster. Remember, we talked about roster depth all year. It was because of those guys. Well, now those guys are going to be experienced. They all had, for the most part, had a chance to play and contribute where they could grow. Darbo, where you saw David Moore finally got in the game, those guys are going to be factors. They're going to be factors. They're legitimate factors on this team as we move forward, and they'll compete for more playing time and all of that. That's part of what's fueling all of the energy that we have about this looking forward. This is a terrific looking group.
With the disappointment of missing the playoffs for just the second time since joining the Seahawks, Carroll thinks the future is bright in the years ahead.
I'm encouraged about the future of where we can go and what we can do. I hope that was conveyed, because I couldn't feel more optimistic about our chances to be really good again. I think there's a championship team sitting in this meeting room right here.
When it comes to injuries, Pete Carroll said that the team is in good shape heading into the offseason. As for Cliff Averill and Cam Chancellor, he didn't want to elaborate on their injuries, but said it will be their decision if they want to return to football. As for Richard Sherman, who already had surgery to repair his torn Achilles earlier this year, he'll have another surgery, but this time on the other leg, to get things cleaned up during the offseason. Pete Carroll did talk for nearly 40 minutes in his final press conference of the year, so if you'd like to see the video, you can watch it in its entirety on Seahawks.com.